close today. My goodness, up close and personal. Hi everyone, how are you all doing? I hope you are well. Today I come at you with no makeup on my face because I will be doing an updated foundation routine. And to be honest with you, I don't really remember doing a foundation routine in the first place, so I guess this is just my current foundation routine. Also, I think this is my first chatty makeup tutorial in a really long time. Let me know in the comments down below if you like this style of makeup tutorial, because I really like chatting with you guys. We can just talk and put our makeup on and all that fun stuff and just hang out. It sounds like a blast. So the first thing in my foundation routine that's really important to me is to have hydrated skin. And so I'll be starting with this moisturizer from Clinique, and this is their Pep-Start moisturizer. So I'm just massaging it into my fingers a little bit and then applying it with clean hands. That's another important step. Make sure your hands are clean when you're touching your face, because you never know. You never know. If you're looking to have more of a flawless foundation, skincare is a huge step. People ask me all the time in comments or my Instagram how I get my foundation looking the way it does, and to be honest, it's because I moisturize a lot. Whatever your skin type might be, I would suggest finding a skincare routine that really works for you, because then you'll use less foundation and your foundation will apply a lot more smoothly. And it will look like it's giving you more coverage because there's a lot less to cover up. Who knew? Okay, now for the fun part, the foundation. Ooh, how exciting. The foundation that I've been reaching for a lot lately is by Vichy. So it's an illuminizing foundation and it looks so nice on the skin. I have mine in the shade 15. I think it's one of their lightest shades, if not their lightest shade, but it still has a nice warm undertone, so it matches my skin really nicely. But before I do my foundation, I have a little trick, and I mentioned this in my last video, my October favorites video, and a bunch of you said you'd like to see a foundation routine showing how I do this, and it's very, very simple. It really isn't much of a trick. I like using the Urban Decay setting spray before I put my makeup on, and I apply this to my brush so that my foundation applies a little more smoothly, and on top of that, it makes your foundation last even longer than what it normally would, so that's great. So I just shake it up, and I just spray this a couple times to my brush so that it's a little damp. After I spray my brush, I take my foundation and I put it on the back of my hand, and then I just pick up the foundation with the brush. Easy peasy. And then I dab it across my face, like so. So I like to apply my foundation first in the areas that need it the most. I'm using about 2 pumps right now, but I really don't need that many. Ooh, patchy. So after I put my foundation in the spots that really need it the most, I take up a little tiny bit of product on the back of my hand and then buff it all in. I like to use my Real Techniques brush. This came in one of the sets. I got this so long ago. I'll put the name in the description bar down below because I don't remember what it's called. This foundation just matches my skin now. Like, it's a little warm, so I think in a couple of months it might be a little too dark, but it works as of right now, and it makes me look slightly less pale, which is really nice because winter is upon us. Winter is coming. I also like to take a little bit of foundation and blend it down my neck just to make sure that the transition, if there is any color difference, or if there's any oxidization throughout the day, that it blends right down to my neck and you don't get that solid foundation line. So that's the base of the foundation. As you can see, it's got this nice glow to it. It's not too much, it's really subtle, but it just makes your skin look hydrated and healthy, which I appreciate, so thank you. Thank you for doing your job, foundation. So for my brows, I'm going to be using the Brow Wiz by Anastasia, and it's in soft brown. I also have the brow definer, which is the bigger one, the more triangular shape, but I find it makes my brows just a little too harsh, so I've gone back to my Brow Wiz, and also the brush broke off of this one, I don't know. So I just comb through my brows first, and then I use the Brow Wiz and fill them in. Any of you YouTubers out there, do you find it very stressful to do your brows on camera? Because I certainly do. Ugh, stressful. Everyone's watching me do my brows. I find that if I do little tiny strokes towards my inner brow, that it gives them a little bit more of a softer look, and then it will get gradually more opaque towards the outer line. And I just find that works really well for my brows. But you do you. Everyone has their own preference for brows, I find, and this, I think, works for me. And when that is done, I set them all in place using the Maybelline Brow Define. This is just a really great brow gel. I know some people who use this on their own and they find it really great, but but I just use it to make sure that everything stays where it's supposed to. Do you guys find that you have good brow days and bad brow days, like your hair? Because I do. Some days are great and some days just, ooh, oh my, are interesting. So under my eyes, I use the Collection Concealer. This is from the UK. My sister got this for me. She's so sweet. Thank you, Caitlin. And I like to use this down the bridge of my nose because my nose gets so red, especially when I'm cold. So that kind of prevents it from happening a little bit. And then sometimes my chin gets a little red, and I'll put a little bit to highlight in the middle of my forehead. Whatever's left over, I put around the side of my nose because that also gets a little tiny bit red. And then under my eyes, I use this roller ball, also by Vichy, and I apply this in a triangular shape under my eyes, and this brightens up my eyes so much. So then what I do, I just take my ring finger and I just start to blend everything out. But I find my finger just makes sure that all the product actually stays on my face and doesn't get soaked up by the brush. I pat some of what's under my eye over my eyelid, and this just conceals any little veins or anything like that. Like, what a difference in brightness with this stuff. It's so good. If you have problems with dark circles or brightness, I would suggest getting a concealer that's a little lighter than your skin tone. It makes a big difference. So voila, now it looks like I sleep a lot and I have a really bright face. For my next step, it sounds like I'm about to do a magic trick. For my next step, watch everything disappear. But for my next step, I will be using this contour kit by Kiss, and I'm just going to take this color right here and contour my cheeks. And I'm also using a Real Techniques brush for this, and this is the contour brush. Oh, they're on the side. My other brush is called the buffer brush. So some bronzers tend to have sparkles in them, but this is definitely a contour color. It's completely matte and it really does its job. And I start my contour underneath my cheekbone, and I put the majority of the product there, and then I slowly blend it down a little bit. So this is just a great way to kind of blend as you go, I guess. So I put the majority of the product here, and then I lightly blend it down. And then whatever is left on my brush, I just put down the sides of my nose just to give it a little bit more warmth, and up the side of my face just to make everything look a little more cohesive so that it doesn't look like I have blocks of color on my face. And then I just like to put a little bit more of that color down along my jawline. Okay, so this is primarily the base of everything that I do for my foundation. I'm just gonna go and finish up my makeup, and then I'll show you what I do afterwards to essentially finish up my foundation routine. So, BRB. How uncool am I? Okay. Okay, I'm back, as you can see. So my whole look is almost all put together. I could definitely go out just like this. This is even more than enough. But if I want to go the extra mile and I want everything to look super flawless, I have a couple of more steps that I do. If I want things looking extremely clean, I'll take my Collection Concealer again, and I'll just dab this on the outer corners of my eyes, because sometimes I'll get a little bit of fallout, and this just makes sure that none of that fallout stays or smudges underneath my eyes. So I'm just pat, 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 pat. For years, I didn't use a setting powder because some setting powders that I used really dried up my skin and took all moisture out of it, but I've also been using the Vichy Tient Idéal. So I've just been taking a little bit of this on my fluffy brush. This is by Eco Tools, and it's really old, again, why I need some new brushes. And I pat this underneath my eyes to set all of that concealer, and then I use whatever's left and pat it around my face. And this just gives my skin that doll-like look. It looks a little bit more airbrushed and definitely more flawless. But again, because this is the illuminizing foundation in powder form, it still looks really great and not cakey. There we go. I love the way this looks. Finally, I'm taking the MAC Mineralized Skinish. Finally, I'm taking the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Soft and Gentle. I mentioned this in my October favorites as well. This is an oldie but a goodie. So I take this on the same brush that I applied my contour with, and I just gently pat that across my cheekbones just a little bit because I don't want anything too crazy. And if I'm feeling really into it, I'll put this on my brow bone, just whatever is left on the brush. Okay, so that is my finished foundation tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helped any of you guys who are curious or are looking to change up their foundation routine a little bit. I'm really happy with this one, and I'm starting to find products that I really enjoy. This was a lot of fun to do. I haven't done a tutorial like this in a long time. Let me know if you liked it, because I had a lot of fun just chatting about makeup and all the fun stuff. Anyway guys, I hope you're having a lovely week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!